right, so to frame this whole spoiler-filled conversation, we're gonna break this up into three different kind of areas. We're gonna do the good, the bad, which I know you have no bad, so that'll just be me talking, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the bloody,
Yep.
because this movie is fucking bloody.
Pretty bloody. I could have used some more, but I'm just a freak, so
Just wait till the third one. They're gonna have to take it up another notch.
they fucking better. Because if they tone it down like they did in Scream 3, I'm not gonna be happy.
So the good. We have to start this off talking about the opening.
Oh,
In
I think it's my favorite now.
All right. So in all of our other Scream rewatches, we talked about the openings, and like the opening it's a core part of every Scream movie.
Mhm.
I mean, even Scream 3, which is the the least good one, still has a pretty good opening. Like
Yeah,
that
not
that
bad.
movie, that opening saves the rest of the weird movie. But this movie, this opening blew me away.
Mhm. Me too.
Like I was a little worried at first.
Immediately concerned because Samara Weaving is the first person that we see, and you're like, "Oh god." I knew she was in this movie because obviously the director's radio silence, she was in Ready or Not with them, and they
Oh
wanted to
yeah.
work with her again. But I was just hoping that maybe she'd be the killer because I do love it. I just want her to survive, basically. Also, a little thrown off at first for her using her real accent. Were you a little thrown off? Because we only ever see her usually with an American
I
accent.
was gonna ask you, is that her real accent?
Yep, she's like Margot Robbie. They get mistaken for each other. They're both blonde and Australian. So,
Ah.
yeah, they're just gorgeous, and she's 10 times hotter now with her Australian accent, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah. But yeah, I was a little worried because it seemed very simple, which I mean, I guess a lot of them are. But I did like that it didn't take place in somebody's home.
It was just like Scream 2, the
Yeah.
only other opening that takes place in public. Instead of at a theater, though, she's at a restaurant in New York talking to her Tinder date
Yeah.
who's lost, right?
And I loved the inclusion of like a dating app.
Mhm,
And
exactly.
that being yeah, it seems like every movie they add like a different modern kind of technology piece to things.
For Ghostface to take over, yeah.
And they did a great job of making me question whether or not I thought the guy on the phone was Ghostface.
Right? Yeah, because it's and plus, I don't know if you recognized his voice right away, but as I said earlier, how excited I was for Spider-Man, I'm familiar with the new movies, so I knew that that was Tony Revolori or whatever, he played the bully in the new Spider-Man movies with
Oh
Tom
yeah.
Holland. So I recognized his voice right away.
That's what happens when Spider-Man, beats you up. You just start killing normal people, I guess.
Well, that's the interesting part was that it makes it like he's Ghostface, and, like, what really threw me off, right? Because he lures her outside, gets her into the alleyway, and then kills her as
Mhm.
Ghostface, but the whole time he was on the phone with her, since I recognized his voice, I thought, "Oh, shit, are they trying that voice changer technology again? Are they gonna try and redeem that shit?" But they did not. It was actually that guy because this is the first ever opening scene where Ghostface takes off his fucking mask, which threw me for a fucking loop. I
Oh,
went,
yeah.
"What? Are you kidding me? Oh
Yeah.
my god." And then I think I was just so taken aback by that, like, I didn't realize that we didn't have a cut to the credits or, like, to Scream 6
Mhm.
title. So, like, the opening scene is still going on after that, and you're
Yeah.
like, because 'cause you're following this guy back to his dorm, and I just was so flabbergasted by what had happened that I didn't even notice, and then I was like, "Oh my god, what an opening scene," and then Nolan, who's with me, is like, I'm pretty sure that we're still in the opening scene." And I'm like, "Oh my god, you're right, how fucking cool."
Yeah, when he took the mask off, I was like, "Wait, what?
Yeah.
Are they trying to, like, do a real hard subversion or something? Like, we know who the killer is the whole movie and
Well, we
everyone
only know
else is tr"
one Ghostface.
Oh, that's true, that's true.
And I thought that's what they were doing, so I was like, "Oh my god, how cool!" Because he even sees Jenna Ortega's character Tara on the
Yeah.
way and says hi to her.
Yeah, and then he goes back home, and then that's when the real opening scene happens, and I thought that was brilliant.
Me too.
It was kinda like, the Scream 4 when they do the whole movie trailer within a movie, then the
Mhm,
real
within a
thing.
movie. Yeah,
Like
they really stepped it up a notch by doing that, and both times I felt like it was just genuinely something I didn't expect, and it was just the coolest opening sequence because I was already like, "Holy shit." And then we didn't I don't even think we've mentioned the fact that when the real Ghostface emerges and kills, the fucking kid from Spider-Man, Ghostface says, "Who gives a fuck about movies?" And then
Yeah.
slashes him, and I was like, "What? What? Are you kidding me? This is insane." I was like,
Yeah.
"Ghostface cares about movies. That's who." Like, that was fucking nuts. Did that not throw you for a loop? I was like, "This Ghostface really is different."
Yeah, that opening scene, I was like, "Okay, I am so hyped for the rest of this movie now."
Yeah, because I was like, "Wow, Ghostface has literally never said that in his life. He's always, I wanna talk about scary movies."
Yeah.
So, that was a real, like overall, I would say this one might be my new favorite now. I 4 was always up there, but I think this one now is gonna be right tied with the first one maybe or right
Yeah.
after it.
Yeah. Completely agree. My order, now that we've gone through all of them, my official order in the 6th spot, I got Scream 3, then Scream 4, then Scream 5, then Scream 2, Scream 6, and Scream is still number 1.
Yeah.
But I think this leads me to the next thing I wanted to talk about in the good. This movie brought back, I think, the best phone calls since the first one. So those 2 are in my top spot for the openers because the phone calls are so good. Like, they are
Mhm.
tense. Like, he's, like, playing with them, like, really it seems like the killer's just having a blast, you
Yeah,
know?
totally.
I have fun when I see them having fun, you know? So,
Me too.
that's what's important.
I like a Ghostface that's having fun with what he does. I also like the fact that he was really, like, terrifying in this movie. Like,
Mhm.
all of the set pieces with Ghostface chasing them were really scary,
Yeah.
really tense, and I think it's because they did such a good job with the characters in both movies, 5 and 6, that you really care about them instantly, and then by the end, you're like, "Oh my god, I really care about all of them." Like, I didn't realize how much they meant to me.
The characters are so good. I mean, like, really, like, 4, 5, and 6 are the best movies that have, like, introduced new characters.
I agree.
And, and unfortunately, 4 didn't get the sequels that it was kind of originally planning out for. But yeah.
Kind of gets one here because we get Kirby back, and that's really all that we need from 4. I mean, I love Emma Roberts, but she's dead, they killed her off, like, that's done. I was happy to see her back.
So, I was really surprised. I told you that I loved Melissa Barrera in
Mhm.
Scream 5, and I thought that Jen Ortega was gonna be a bigger role in this one, and she was. And Jen Ortega's great. She's wonderful in this movie, but I'm shocked how much I love Melissa Barrera.
Yeah, Sam was incredible this movie.
She just keeps getting better, and
People hated her after the first movie, they were so mean to her online, they thought she was a terrible actress, and I'm like, "Okay, you guys are fucking dicks, like, let's
yeah.
see you get up there and act." First off, I think she was a lot better in this movie, but I think it's just because they established a lot in 5 that really, like, came together at the end, so for her to be, like, wrestling with this, like, kind of, "Am I a killer?" And then everyone thinks that she's a killer, and, like, she enjoyed killing Richie and, like,
Mhm.
all this stuff. I thought that was really fascinating. I love that element of it that she, like, is kind of into killing too. So, like, is she eventually gonna become a Ghostface? Because I never really would have bought it with Sydney, but, like,
Yeah.
for Ghostface in this movie, framing it to be, like, confirming that she's the killer is, like, again, what they did in the 5th one, but they tried it with Sydney back in the day. It never worked. She was never gonna be creepy like that. Sam,
Yeah.
I legitimately bought that she had, like, a wild look in her eye, like, she was kind of fucking insane, right?
Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons that I love her so much is Sydney is she's just like she's uncorruptible. Like
I was just gonna say, yeah.
she's the white knight in every movie.
She's the ultimate final girl.
Yeah, good versus evil. And Sam is
A gray area.
she is a very complex
Mhm.
character, and like the way that she kills Ghostface in both of the movies is just
The
like
stabbing that she really gets into, yeah. Yeah.
if I was what thinking about being Ghostface, I don't think I would go after her. Like,
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying.
it has not worked out for anyone. It didn't work out for anyone against Sydney, but it really doesn't work out for 'em when
Yeah,
they go
Sydney
against
would just,
Sam.
like, shoot him in the head or something or, like, fucking, that's it.
Mhm,
I don't think Sydney ever really, like I mean, she does stab people, but it's more like,
mhm.
it was always just like, "I'm just gonna kill them, I'm not gonna enjoy it." Like, when she just stabs the shit out of Richie, you're like, "Okay, yeah." She also, like, stabbed him in the face, slit his throat, stabbed him a billion times, and then shot him, so it's like, yeah, okay. I get it, like, she likes to kill.
Yeah.
That's a little bit harder to explain. I mean, I do think it's funny that she has a therapist in this movie that, like I mean, he clearly never Googled her before accepting her as a patient, which I thought was weird because he had no idea about her history.
Yeah.
At first, I thought he was the killer, but then, like, when she tells him her whole thing, he's like, "Okay, well, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this anymore.
I'm not qualified for
I'm not
this.
comfortable." And, I don't know if you recognized him, but, the actor was the same guy who played the dad in Ready or Not.
Oh. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
I immediately thought he was a villain because also, like, I was like, "How could this fucking therapist be her therapist and not know who she is?" Like, if this just happened a year ago, like, I feel like he woulda known.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I was trying to figure out how everyone was the villain. Anytime someone was brought on screen, I'm like, "How are you the killer? I'm
Yep.
keeping an eye on you."
I was keeping an eye on everybody too. I think I do wanna talk about that with you because I was curious, like, if you were able to predict and we've kind of talked about that with all the screams, if you were able to
Mhm.
predict the final twist of who the killers were. I don't know if you were this time, but
No, I mean, I definitely thought it was the roommate,
really, you thought the roommate, the girl or the boy?
the girl, but again, it was because the moment that I saw any new face on screen, I assumed they were the killer. So, when she died, I definitely thought she was dead. So when she came back, I was like, "Oh."
So I wasn't suspicious of her immediately because I really liked her, and then I remembered what you said to me when we were talking about 5 and how you were like, "I knew it was fucking Richie, AKA,
Yeah.
Jack Quaid, because he was so charming and you liked him so much," right? Like, he was
Mhm.
so, like, doing the opposite of what the killer should do, so that just felt like, "Okay, now it's gotta be him." And after I was like, "God, she's great. I really like her." I was like, "Damn it, she's probably the fucking killer." And then the cop too, I was always like, "Okay, that guy is ultimate suspect number 1." First off, right?
I actually didn't think he was the killer.
Really? The cop?
Yeah, mainly because he was so involved with everyone, like, with the team.
It was very Patrick Dempsey in Scream 3, but, like, Patrick Dempsey was playing it like he was evil, and he
Yeah.
wasn't, and this guy was playing it like he was their best friend, and that's why I thought he was evil.
Yeah, like, there's some stuff that he said that, like, I was like, "Oh, you're a little unhinged." But I mean, when the ultimate reveal that there was 3 of them, then I was like, "Okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense." I wasn't predicting there was gonna be 3.
That was so cool. I'm so happy that we finally got 3 Ghostface. I was a little disappointed because I thought it might be a cult of Ghostface, and I thought that would be fun because the 2 guys who are, like, technically the Ghostface for the opening scene, right? The guy that
Yeah.
gets killed and his roommate who's, like, dead in the fridge already. They have, like, this whole shrine and that these killers, like, killed them and took over, right? But it's
Mhm.
just so funny that it's like I don't know, I was expecting it with the shrine, I guess, made me feel like it would be a cult.
Yeah, after he takes his mask off in the beginning, I was like, "Oh, was Renee right? Was it a cult thing?" Like,
Yeah.
and then he dies, and it's like, "Nope,
Yeah.
it's not a cult thing." But
But then when I saw 3 Ghostface, I was like, "Okay, that's a lot more than we've ever had," and then I just was assuming that there would be more, but,
mhm,
I mean, I also think the other so there's 3, the roommate of Tara and Sam, and then the roommate of Chad, that fucking Ethan guy who totally looked like a suspect the entire time, but I
mhm.
thought he was just a fucking, like, patsy, like, we're throwing him out there to make you think it, but he's not. But him and they were Richie's siblings from the 5th movie, and
Yeah,
then his dad is the cop, so it was very much like it just really fit with how I feel that this movie is very much like Scream 2 because I was like, "Of course, Billy Loomis, like, his mother is the killer in the 2nd one. Why
yeah,
wouldn't it be Richie's family?"
yeah. The brother I thought was really funny because he looks exactly like Evan Peters when he's on The
Like
Office.
a discount Evan Peters, yeah.
Like, when he's on The Office, when he's, like, a kid. Like
Young Evan Peters, for sure. He totally did. I was like, why couldn't they get the real Evan Peters? Maybe he was a little too expensive.
If Evan Peters was in this movie, he's definitely the killer.
Or you make him the opening scene kill, really switch it up. I'm just saying, it could happen.
Mhm.
These guys love Radio Silence and the fucking writers, man. I also just found out that Guy Busick, one of the writers, is writing the new Final Destination movie, which just
Oh,
gives me
yeah.
hope. Yeah.
Yeah, so lot of good things in this movie.
What did you think what was your favorite, like, chase sequence? Or, like, I guess, yeah, like, Ghostface
uh,
encounter? There were so many good ones.
all of the chases were great. Um,
Ladder sequence is good, really good.
the latter one was good. I thought, this is hard. Which one? Okay,
There's too many good ones.
they were all good. Okay, I don't know which one's my favorite, but it's between these 2. It's either the train, because that was just great. I don't know if that was technically a chase, but it was really intense.
Yeah, it counts, I think.
Yeah, and, but, like, yeah, it was really intense, and how they used the lighting was all just great, and
I think I just wasn't as overwhelmed by that because I saw it so much in the trailer.
yeah,
But I also saw that fucking scene in the bodega in the trailer a lot, but I felt like that was, like, really intense still in the movie.
that was my other one, was the bodega. I also loved how crazy they got with some of these chase scenes just being in public.
Mhm. Ghostface didn't give a fuck.
The bodega one, like, that starts with him jumping them in the middle of the street,
Yeah.
you know?
This Ghostface was really out for blood, I believed it. Like, most of the times, it's like, when they attack Sydney, I'm like, "Why are they doing that now?" It's not like they're really gonna try and kill her, this is just to fuck with her, right? Because they
Mhm.
never really wanna kill her at the beginning. But this Ghostface, I kind of felt like I was like, "Dude, this guy wants to fuck these bitches up." Like, he's going for it immediately. Like, he tried to stab the shit out of Tara immediately.
Definitely the most hardcore, Ghostface, which is saying something because the last movie, he was hardcore, like,
He was hardcore, yeah.
they really dialed it up. It was nuts.
Yeah, I think it was just really crazy. I was curious, I wanted to know if you thought it was good or bad how they treated Gail in this movie.
So that I thought she got a good send off. I thought she had her moment. Like, I think Dewey had a better send off, but,
I mean, she's still alive, so it's
y
okay.
yeah, but I feel like they're kinda gonna do the similar to what they did to Sydney, like, Sydney got her happy ending. Like, I feel
Yeah,
like they're gonna let Gail rest.
they should, honestly, but I loved that she finally got a phone call, they rectified that because I can't believe she's never gotten a Ghostface call in all these she's this is the 6th movie, she's been in it since the 1st. It's just weird, and I liked that she got hers, I liked that whole sequence, I thought it was really well executed and, like, creepy, all the stuff going on in the background that she wasn't noticing. And I totally thought she was fucking dead. Like, I was like, "She's a goner, man. This guy's getting her." And then she supposedly was in a coma at the end, right? So she's okay. Or she just woken up.
If there's anything that we know for sure, just from the last movie, you aren't dead from getting stabbed several times. The only way you are for sure dead is if you get the Dewey treatment where they stab you and then pull up.
Well, that's a gutting you, yeah, that's
I know,
fucked.
but it's like,
The girlfriend,
yeah, the
Mindy's
girlfriend,
girlfriend. I really
he
liked her too.
stabbed her, twisted the knife, then went up. I'm just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's a kill shot."
That's a kill shot, man.
That one stab is more powerful than 50 other stabs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, yeah, you're right. But I guess it looked pretty brutal with Gail, and I was just worried about her because I was like, "Man, are they gonna kill her off too?" And I kinda thought they did because they really don't say anything about it till the end. But I thought that it was a good thing that, like I think what people were kind of wondering about was, like, how they were gonna treat her if she was just gonna be like, because at the end of the 5th one, she's like, "I'm not gonna write a book about these fucks, they can die in anonymity. I'm gonna write a book about Dewey." And
And
then in
of
this one, they're,
course
like,
she
mad at her,
does.
and I'm like, "Yeah, that's exactly, like, how she does it from Scream 1 to Scream 2 and Scream
Yeah.
2 to Scream 3." It's really on brand for Gail, and having
Yeah.
lost Dewey, who was, like, her one person that, like, kinda kept her honest. I feel like she just, like, was like, "Fuck it," you know? She's got dealing with PTSD too, so I thought it was great, and I loved that Sam tried to punch her, she dodged it 'cause she's like, "Bitch, I've been punched many a time," and then Tara smacks her. I was like, "That was great."
Yeah. That was funny. The one thing I thought that was just like, would a punch from Jenna Ortega actually hurt?
I mean, yeah,
She's
I
like a
don't
little
know.
baby. It's
She is a little
it's like, oh,
baby.
that's cute.
She's so tiny and adorable,
I
but
was
yeah.
th- I was thinking the entire chase scene with Gail, like, I I kind of hope that Gail dies. She kind of deserves to die because all of this is her fault.
I know, she's the one who wrote the book.
She sold the rights from the original movie to the Stab franchise, so she's
Mhm.
the reason that there's any of these movies. And then she just kept selling her book, and so it's the entire reason for all this. I'm like, Gail, you deserve to die.
Yeah. I kind of was like, yeah, I assumed she was gonna be gone finally, because like, that means I don't know, I just felt like she definitely should have died probably, but I'm okay with it. They just killed Dewey. It would be a lot if they were just killing him off. I loved that they gave Sydney a happy ending, but I wanted to get to Kirby and see where you're if you were good or bad on that.
Special Agent Kirby Reed, FBI. I work out of the Atlanta office.
You lost.
Your two Vics were residents of my city before they moved here for college. I have been investigating their online activity for the past few months.
Why?
They take a special interest in Ghostface attacks.
So I really enjoyed Kirby, um, but I want to use this to kind of transition a little bit to some of the bad. I loved Kirby, love having Hayden Panettiere back. I didn't really love what they did with her though.
I love that she's an FBI agent now.
Well, she's not an FBI agent anymore either.
No, that detective was lying.
Oh, he was?
Well, he's the fucking killer. Why would you believe anything he said? Once he tried
Oh,
to frame Kirby, I was like, this guy's 100% the
oh
killer.
yeah. That's okay. You know what? Maybe this isn't a negative, but that
Yeah, it's a positive, man. It was perfect. Of course, and then that's how I knew that he was the killer, because he's like, "Oh yeah, don't trust Kirby. She's gone off the rails." I'm like, "Yeah, right. You didn't watch Scream 4, did you? Huh? Fuckface?"
there's that one scene where earlier on where he's like, get all the information that we can on from the Atlanta office or whatever. And it kind of felt like they brought her back to make us think that she was the killer more than like be a character that we're going to see in the next one.
I think we will keep seeing her if she's like, I mean, people in my theater, we went nuts when she came on. Every time she said anything, like the scene with her and Mindy where they were talking about their favorite horror
Oh
movies, and
yeah.
they're like Psycho 2, underrated, and like all this stuff. I was just, oh my God, I loved it. I thought it was amazing.
There was some chemistry there, let me tell
Yeah,
you.
let me tell you, get them back together, man. They were great. And Kirby in general, just like the fact that they just did everything with her that I wanted to see was her being back, her being smart, her knowing what to do. The fact that she's an FBI agent, I'm like, fuck yeah, bitch. You're not a victim. She's fucking killing all the bad guys now.
Also had great hair.
Great hair. She's looking good. She's like, she just still is Kirby. That's the cool thing, was that it just still felt like Kirby. And I loved the fact that she was like, I don't know, I just felt like she was a really good I thought that they killed her off for a minute, and I was really worried because I mean, she gets stabbed a couple times again. Granted, she survived it before. I think the key to doing that is they look like they stabbed her in the exact same fucking wound, so maybe
Yeah.
just reopening that wound is actually, like, maybe it's okay, because that happened to Dewey, like, 5 times
Yeah.
until he couldn't recover.
The cartilage.
That's what I'm saying. So maybe just like if they stick them in the same wound, you're okay, because she lived, and I was very thankful. I felt like they gave her a very Gale in Scream 2 role, but
Mhm.
a good character, not like a villain. Although they still made, I mean, everyone's a suspect, so they
Yeah.
established that early on with the franchise rules, which was another thing I guess we missed on the good. But I thought that that was cool.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I really liked the whole franchise scene. I did like that this movie didn't do the thing from the last one where like the last one was the rules was like its own character. Like
Yeah, it was
it
so
was
much.
talked so much. They had one scene that focused on the rules, which they have to. And I thought that scene was really good. I can kind of tie this into something that I wasn't sure if it was a good or a bad thing, but after that scene where essentially they just suspect everyone. So they did what my brain was already doing. But like after that, I think my brain was so tired from like thinking everyone is the killer that I think I just gave up, and I'm just like, we're just gonna let this happen.
It's just more fun, yeah.
And I kind of felt like they were doing a little too much in terms of trying to throw people off or like subvert. Because I feel like a lot of the fun of the Scream movies is like trying to figure out who it is, and like by the end of this movie, I was just like, I don't. Whoever it is, I'm okay with it. Like I'm tired of thinking everyone is the killer.
Well, that's like the thing with these movies. Everybody's a suspect, and it's always like everyone has these scenes where they're so suspicious. Everybody
Mhm.
has to. It's just kind of the thing with Scream because you're like, I know it's part of the friend group. It always is. Well, usually, sorry, Roman. How hilarious that they did give a shout out to Roman in this movie, the first one to ever mention him. Like when Kirby's like, he's the only one, only Ghostface who did it alone. So, kudos to him for taking all that on, I guess. And I was like, yeah, right? Like kind of respect, but also like impossible. Also, the cute neighbor that Sam hooks up with, I was like, that guy's a little too cute. I don't know. I don't trust him, but that would have been really boring if it was the boyfriend again. So I was happy he was a good guy. It was like Derek in Scream 2.
He was the one person that I'm like, he's not the killer.
Really?
Yeah, and I think it was because they said in that speech that she's like, it can't be like the last one. It has to be different. And I was like, okay, so it's not the love interest. I feel pretty confident that it's not him. Also, it's just kind of weird. And I'm like, this is going to be like the reveal that Billy was the killer in the first one. It's like, oh, the creepy weirdo is a killer.
It really threw me off because after the end of the opening scene, Ghostface is like, who cares about movies? So I was like, I don't know who Ghostface is going to be because, like you just said, with the opposite, like those like Richie and Amber, they
Yeah.
were like the killers in Scream 5. They're just obsessed with the stab movies. They were crazy movie fans. So the opposite had to be true. And I was like, yeah, that's like makes it harder because I feel like it's normally someone who's all about movies. There's always at least one of them. There has to be, right?
Yeah.
So I was interested in that. And then the fact that they also followed that up with like, because it's Richie's family, they had Richie's like versions of the stab movies playing on
Yeah.
the projector the whole time. I thought that was a nice touch.
I liked that.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
Bringing back Jack Quaid. He'll be the next fucking Billy that the kid is seeing in like Scream 9.
There we go.
There be his illegitimate child and they're seeing Jack Quaid in the mirror.
Yeah, it's going to be Richie and Amber's kid.
Yeah. Ooh.
There we go.
Boy, that would be a fucking villain.
So, I mean, there was only like one other thing that just kind of didn't work for me. This movie had a lot of like campiness. So like I think it was intentional. Like the detective, like half of the things he says them in the weirdest like inflections and like crazy.
He was really unauthentic with his tears too, with his daughter. I was like, he made me feel very uncomfortable, so I knew he was lying. So I wasn't sure if it was like leading up to that or if you meant like after they revealed him.
It was kind of leading up. I mean, after the reveal,
He goes full camp.
he goes full Billy's mom from Scream 2, which I'm okay with.
Mrs. Loomis.
But like, yeah, Mrs. Loomis in the second one, I think what worked with that is she's not crazy, like leading up to the reveal. Like she's following Gail and like, you're my inspiration kind of thing.
She's
So
just an
a little
annoying
bit,
character.
yeah. And then she flips the switch. This one, he has a couple lines that he says, and like, because I wasn't taking notes, I can't remember off the top of my head, but he's just like, I'm just like, you really said that. You really like this was the line. But that's just a me thing. I really liked the dark tone of this movie. And so I just felt like the campy pieces of it conflicted with that. But that's just for me. I know other people, I know you love it for example. You so that's just a me thing.
I just love camp.
You just love anything Scream.
I mean, to be fair though, I also love it when someone's just playing it up to like 150 and Dermot Mulroney is really just giving it his all in the ending. But I think it's all on purpose. It's all funny.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Loomis, yeah, she's not crazy until the finale, but her eyes are cartoon eyes popping out of her skull in that scene. So, I mean, he really was like, I have to outdo her, right? I have to have that same energy. I think that's what they were going for. And it worked for me because this all movie just, I feel like I literally was talking to other Scream fans as we walked out and I'm like, I'm going to go watch Scream 2 right now. And they're like, me too. And I'm like, right. It's perfect. It's a perfect pairing.
Scream 5 was a perfect reprisal of Scream 1, and this one is like a perfect reprisal of Scream 2.
How are they gonna do Scream 3 and make it even better? Because this is like Scream 1 and 2 are really, really good, and they somehow managed to like one up them for like modern audiences. So I'm just curious how they would do that. At least they can use voice changer technology now, and it would be more realistic. At least
If they can bring back the voice changer and it worked, like I would clap them. I would say this is amazing.
They already greenlit Scream 7. It's gonna be coming out next year. So, or did I say Screen? I meant Scream. Scream 7.
At least you didn't do what I did and call it cream.
Oh God, I'm not over that. I forgot, and now you just reminded me. Gross. We're gonna go watch Cream 6. So good, they made 6 of them.
The real question, though, is so Scream 5, the killer was the boyfriend, like in Scream 1. Scream 2, the killer was the parent and family, but it was the parent of the killer from the last one. Are they really going to do another bastard child for Scream 7? That's the question.
Or will Sam become, or like, will Tara become the killer?
Okay.
Twist her on that. I don't
All right.
know.
So that is the perfect segue to go over to the bloody section of this movie.
There's never been one like me. I'm something different.
All right, so talking about Sam, we have to talk about blood because good God, this movie is bloody. This is like Halloween Kills level bloody. And I think Sam is primed to turn heel in the next movie.
I think so too. Maybe she'll be Roman in the next one.
Could be. Or Jenna Ortega, but probably Sam. But like, yeah, she kills Richie, and then what she does to Richie's dad. Good God.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we also got her wearing the Ghostface costume that was not only just a Ghostface, it was Billy's
Yeah.
Ghostface, and she had the knife that he had used. I mean, it was just too perfect. But yeah, she stabbed the shit out of him. It looked like Ghostface from any of the other scenes that was going nuts on him, right?
Well, it was like I was telling you when we talked about Scream 5, I was ready after she stabbed Richie a ton of times. I was ready for a reveal that she was the secret partner of Richie and she betrayed him. And then in this one, she stabs him insane. And the the weird part of that scene was to me is like she stabs him probably 11 or 12 times. And then she stops and he thanks her. It's like, you're not gonna live, even if she doesn't stab you through the eye. Like, you're not living through that. I mean, maybe based off some of the movie logic, he would, but like,
Well,
I don't know. Like,
I mean, he looked like he pretty much, I mean, he's a killer. So that basically 100% guarantees they're not making it out of the movie alive. That's really the thing. I thought that the gore was really good. I think they really established like how fucked it can be to get killed with a knife. Like they really do a lot of that, like where they twist the knife in once they've already done it and then like pulling it up, skewering you. But there was also some good stabs to the fucking face, which
yeah,
reminded me of Scream 4. And I have to say, that's one of my favorite kills in Scream 4 because it's like out of the blue, right?
yeah,
When people complain about Ghostface being efficient in Scream 5, I'm like, what is a fucking stab to the face if not efficient? They did that in the fourth one, It's like it's okay. I think it's a good move. I like a Ghostface that does that. It's brutal, and I don't ever want to be stabbed in the face, but it's effective.
yeah. It's not required to be Ghostface that you have to stab people in the lower back. It's not a requirement. That's just a Dewey thing.
I mean, by the Scream 3, if they're not chopping off Sydney's head, that's why I was like, why are we not doing this? Why are you guys just shooting her again and shooting her in the chest? Why is no one shooting them in the head? It's like for the villains, they're just almost as dumb as the fucking characters sometimes with that, where it's like, you got to fucking finish them off.
Yeah.
I just really love Sam because she kind of takes it where like, I'm going to make sure that there's no chance in fucking hell that they will be able to recover from this. She really stabs the shit out of them. She makes sure they're fucking dead. She really, she double checks her list, if you know what I mean.
So Renee, I think the third movie, I think what has to happen is we have to get your idea of the Scream cult, and the finale of that movie is going to be Sam being fed up with all this Scream shit, and she hunts down the entire cult. Just goes on a murder spree.
Like Taken.
Like she puts on the mask and the whole
Oh.
thing, and she just hunts people down.
I like that. I also was thinking that you were gonna say like the cult would maybe persuade her throughout the movie to like by the end she'd be the
Oh.
leader. They'd like get her to their
Oh.
side. It would be very much of like Revenge of the Sith, right? Like the
Yeah.
ending is like fucking, Anakin going to the dark side. That was what I was thinking. It opens it up to do 3 more movies. So that's really what it's got to be. Then you could build up to an eventual Sam and Tara showdown. I'm just saying, if Radio Silence wants to call me, I've got some ideas, I think.
I think I'm just in the mass killing mode because John Wick 4 is coming out, and I'm just ready to see bodies drop, and I would love to see Sam go John Wick on all these Ghostface.
Yeah. I mean, she was just as brutal as any of the Ghostface we've ever seen. It was fucking cool. I liked it. I never see a final girl that's that efficient and good at killing. So they usually have to become good at killing by the end, or they get lucky. Whereas like her and then maybe Aaron from Your Next. That's the only ones where I'm like, these chicks fucking are good at killing.
Mhm.
They know what the fuck they're up to.
Or maybe Sam becomes the leader of the cult, and then they settle the whole pay dispute with Nev Campbell. Bring Nev Campbell to finish things off. Nev Campbell against Sam.
Could be good. They just got to make sure they have the money to pay her then.
Come on, studios, pay up.
I know. God, you guys make so much fucking money. Like, calm down.
So speaking of bloody, there was a common thing that I heard with some other people's reviews. People are really upset about the stabbing and the sheer volume of stabbing and how many people survive and live off the stabbing. And in a way, I get it. This movie, it definitely goes up a notch in like how much people get stabbed.
I mean, what are the movies within the movies called? They're fucking called Stab. People should call they were upset about how many people were stabbed. Fuck off.
People were living and walking and talking like they weren't injured after getting stabbed a bunch. And like the final act, like Sam and Tara both get stabbed a lot. Chad gets essentially skewered.
I mean, 2 Ghostface go at him, stabbing him on all sides of his body. I thought that guy was dead meat, but I was not bothered that any of them, like the fact that him and Mindy lived, perfectly fine with me. Again, could be the scar tissue, or you know what? I'm just saying we need a new Dewey, okay? How many times have they wheeled Dewey out at the end of these movies until he just couldn't be? They were like, we're gonna skewer him and like cut him open from like groin to sternum just so that you guys know he's not fucking coming back. Like, I think that until you get like fully annihilated like that, like you're coming back, basically. You have the opportunity. That's how I take it. And I'm okay with that because I love these characters. I don't want them to die.
Yeah, like I get where they're coming from, but also at the same time, I'm just like, are you guys just trying to find something to get upset about? Because yeah, like every movie leading up to this, like how has Stewie lived past the second movie?
I know.
It doesn't make sense.
Dewey should have died a long time ago. The fact that him and Gail made it out so many times alive is pretty incredible. And the fact that like now I'm like, okay, I think we all agree that one thing that we like, as much as like it really does add to the stakes of the movie, I'm so bothered that Randy gets killed in Scream 2.
Yeah.
And I feel like they fixed that by saving both of Randy's his niece and nephew, the twins. I love those characters. We need a Randy's. Don't get mad. We need a Randy. Chad can be Hot Dewey. I don't care.
Chad is Hot Dewey.
He's Hot Dewey. Mindy is Hot Randy.
Also, it makes me wonder, is the movie saying that being obsessed with horror movies is a genetic thing? Like,
might be.
Maybe.
Well, they were like, we don't care about the movies. We care about Richie. And we know that he killed you, but like you killed him, so we're gonna make everyone believe what you already believe. That was the meta-ness of it, was like how easy it is to get people to turn against someone who's famous or that people know of. Like that just felt very prescient, and I was like, that's a good like inclusion to make it like how it would happen in real life.
No, that was a great message. I wasn't talking about them. I was talking about Randy's nephews.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
But yes, I did love that message of like, you can't just kill someone, you have to destroy their character, you have to destroy their entire like life, essentially.
Yeah. Overall, probably the best Scream sequel we've ever gotten. I think it's number 2 for me now after Scream,
Mm,
the first.
okay.
And 4 was up there forever, but I think I'm gonna go 1, 6.
So wait. Let's start from the bottom. So let's start at the 6th spot and well, I guess you already started. So
I already started, so don't fuck with me. I can't do that.
okay.
I'm gonna fuck it up if I do it. Okay, so my number 1 is Scream the first. Number 2 now is Scream 6.
Okay.
Number 3 is Scream 4. And number 4 is Scream 5. I love Scream 5 and Scream 4 equally. I wish they could
Mhm.
share number 3 personally, but and then I would have Scream 2 and then Scream 3 last.
Yeah.
What's yours?
So mine 1 through 4 is so hard. I have my bottom 2, that's easy. It's
Yeah.
Scream 3 and then Scream.
Oh, really?
I don't think Scream 1 is a bad movie. It just feels very old. I don't like Billy and the reveal. I hate Dewey, but I love I love a lot of the scenes in Scream.
Such a hot take.
But 1 through 4 are really they could really switch on a dime. But I think my list is number 4 is Scream 2. I honestly can't pick between the two. It's the 2 spot is shared between Scream 5 and 6. I like them equally, and it's because I like them each for very different reasons. Number 1 is Scream 4 still.
Scream 4, baby.
I love Scream 4, and I think the biggest thing is that Scream 4 was the only movie that like I was like, "Whoa," at the reveal.
I mean, I just feel like as a true Scream fan, I just can't put anything besides 1 as number 1. Like I
Yeah.
love all of them and they're so good, but like 1 just is the ultimate because it did everything first. But 4 is so good because it was the only one where you couldn't call Ghostface. At least you call one of them. And sometimes there's a good twist where you don't call the other one like Billy Loomis's mom or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like that movie is the only one where I was like, holy shit, anybody could be Ghostface. And that's what was really good about it.
Yeah. I think other than like Scream 1 and 5, I think all the other Screams, the killer kind of comes out of left field. Like it just kind of comes out of nowhere. Like, oh, who are you? It makes sense, but yeah, like Scream 4, and that's the beauty of me being a casual fan. I don't have to live and breathe by the original.
I know I do, but that's because I'm also like, it's not like a punishment. Like, I love that I live and breathe by the original. It shaped me into the person I am today.
Scream 4 also might be my favorite purely because I watched all of these movies within the last 7 weeks for the first time. And so Scream 3 really just lowered the bar. And so it might have just amplified Scream 4.
Yeah, I think Scream 4 just came out at the wrong time, man. If it would have come out now, people would have been head over heels for it because so I think if it came out later, but either way, it's developed a huge fan base. And I was happy that like the fans I talked to at the movie, they also agreed that Scream 4 is like number 2 or like number 3 for them. They were all super into 5 and 4, and I was happy to see it because I feel like in so many other places, it's like, no, the original 3 should be the best trilogy. It's like, I know people think that about Star Wars, but like, come on, no one's thinking Scream 3 is the best of anything. It doesn't belong anywhere. I mean, it's fine, but it's kind of like that weird cousin that you have that you just don't ever really talk about or ever want to see again.
In my mind, the original trilogy is Scream 1, 2, and 4.
Yeah.
Like,
And then now we're getting 5, 6, and 7. So who knows? Everything's on the table again. I love that. And I'm happy that we still have the core 4 because I would have been really sad if we had to find a new,
yeah.
Randy or something.
I'm stoked to see the next one. I mean, I love the main characters. The kills are really fun. Like this movie it's a really fun movie, and so that's all I want. Like I had a great time with it.
I want more horror requels because I think of the quality of Scream 5 and 6. They've really like showed me that like if done well, these things can be really good. Like I love the Halloween trilogy. Like, Halloween Kills is one of my favorite movies from that year. Like it was so much fun. It was
Yeah.
so good. And to me, a huge improvement over the first one. So I love like that stuff, but like I don't have any really nostalgia for the original. Like I liked it when I was younger, but like it wasn't my favorite like Scream
No.
was. So I don't know. Maybe it just depends on the franchise, but the fact that one of the writers here is going to be on Final Destination, I think we should watch all those movies before that comes out. Because if he can make Scream this great, I bet you like see what they could do with those movies. It would be really fun.
I could have some fun with Final Destination.
Fuck yeah, you could.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. We out here.